Hello and welcome back again with the Paris Review Reviewed. Now you might have noticed that I am skipping many of the interviews and I'm skipping along the years, but that's because there are like 200 of these interviews, like 20, 30 pages long, and I'm not going to read every single one of them. I'm just going to concentrate on the authors that I know and on things that I actually read or things that I liked. So, today, John Steinbeck. He's mostly known for, obviously, The Grapes of Wrath and East of Eden, and this little booklet called Of Mice and Men. Now, if you never read it, that is personal advice. Go read it; it's very good. And if you do not like to read, well, what are you doing on this channel? But let's just assume that you don't have time to read this small booklet. Go and watch the movie. There's this cinematographic interpretation with John Malkovich, which is brilliant. John Malkovich is a great actor. Just one way or another, read the book, watch the movie. It's very good. So, uh, in John Steinbeck's case, we are not actually dealing with an interview as much as a compendium of things that he says about writing and bits and pieces of advice that he gives on different topics. So I want to share with you today what he says on when being confronted with 400 pages of blank stock, he calls it. So when you have to write a very long book. So here are the things that he says. Abandon the idea of finishing it. So lose track of the 400 pages and just write one page a day. Eventually you will get there, but you do not have to be caught up in the dread of thinking, oh my god, I have to finish all the 400 pages or whatever. Just do it. Just write, right? As usual. This is something that every writer seems to agree upon. Just do the work. Another thing that he says is write freely and as rapidly as possible and throw the whole thing on paper. There is room for editing and revising and reviewing later on. But first, you have to write it. The concept of an audience. When you are confronted with this big audience that would eventually read your book, you kind of lose track of for whom you are writing. So his advice is to write for one single reader. You have that target audience of one and you write for that person, and then the other readers will eventually get this feeling of personal dimension that is created between the writer and the reader. If you get stuck on a scene, return to it later. So don't spend too much of your time just on one single scene because you like it. And about scenes that you like, you should be very careful about scenes that you are overly attached to. So if there is something that you like very much and you are very fond of, possibly it may have a different impact with the rest of the story. So quality and whatnot. Think about that. And last but not least, dialogue. Say it out loud. So when writing dialogue, you should practice it. You should hear how it sounds. And that's about the things that he says. And what really got me, why I wanted to share these bits and pieces of information with you, is what he says about rewriting. So write freely and rapidly, right? But then he says that rewriting, so you have the same scene, you are rewriting it constantly because you are never satisfied. He says that rewriting is an excuse for not writing. So it's rewriting in a way is procrastination because you are not going on with your work and you are concentrating and focusing on that single piece, and you will never be satisfied with that. So I don't know. In my opinion, it's a very good theory and something that many of us should actually practice, because again, there are times where you feel that you are in a slump and you are trying to remake that thing that you once wrote better and better and better without realizing that there are many other things that you should be doing and writing. Again, leave a comment if you agree with this opinion or not. Let me know. Until next time, don't forget to breathe, don't forget to smile. Have a nice one.